is the Kremlin, citadel of Russian communism. Russia today is regarded as a grave threat to our nation. These leaders, by their actions, have caused the world to stand guard. Here, in Russia, you see the reason why so many nations are building up their defenses. The leaders of Russia tell us their only concern is the defense of their own nation. Is this so? Or are they ambitious for world conquest?
We don't have a Putin problem, we have a Russia problem. Russian ideology is not consistent. It's a kaleidoscope, a clashing kaleidoscope of different elements. The only unifying theme in all this is ultimately imperialism. The idea that of the vertical vlasti dominating all of the rest of Russia. This is a Soviet idea, just as it's a Russian imperial idea, just as it's a Putinist idea, and in fact I would argue it was also there in part in the Yeltsin era, and it'll be there afterwards. And then this idea of the importance of dominating neighbouring countries. And those are the really unifying ideas, which you could basically boil down into repression at home and aggression abroad. These problems predate Putin, and they, I think, will outlast him. Putin said very clearly that he wants the Americans to withdraw their nuclear weapons from Europe. He wants no effective NATO defence of any of the countries that joined NATO after 1991. So he's put his manifesto pretty clearly. He says things which would have been unimaginable 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. His aim is to break the will of the West. This is the aim of the war, first and foremost, is to leave Ukraine as an unviable state, something that is in political, economic and social torment, that's uninvestable, that is crippled permanently. So it can't be, as he puts it, the anti-Russia. It's no longer a kind of competitor to Russia. But his bigger aim is to show that Russian willpower is stronger than Western willpower. You tried to defend Ukraine, you failed. I tried to attack Ukraine, I succeeded. And if that is the verdict at the end of the war, then every other country that is close to Russia is in great danger. Maybe a couple of years, I think not longer, but we will see further pressure on Russia's neighbours, further demands, backed up with military force, and we'll be in a much weaker position. And I've said right at the beginning of this war, we are heading for an existential confrontation with Russia, where either Russia triumphs as an imperialist country that dominates its neighbourhood, or Russia is defeated and is put on the way to becoming a normal nation state. And we have a choice. We can either have that confrontation right now with 40 million Ukrainians on our side and Ukraine still a viable country, or we can have it later when Ukraine has been defeated and we'll be fighting on a much less favourable geographical and political landscape.